And Srikaran will be keeping the timing. As once again, I'll give an instruction to the participants. It is 5 minutes is your time, and we will not be giving any warning signals. Exactly at 5 minutes, you will be muted. You will have to stop before that. I'm sure you would have rehearsed and fixed the time properly. So now Kiran is ready. All the judges are ready. And now over to Surya, who will be calling the participants one by one. Surya, please.
Yes, sir. Judges, please note, chess number SJ101 on the stage and SJ102, please get ready. SJ101, you can start.
Biodiversity is the greatest treasure we have. Its diminishment is to be prevented at all cost, said the father of chemical ecology, Thomas Eisner. Wow, how beautiful is our Mother Earth, with millions of species and different types of life forms living on it. Today, I'm here to express my viewpoints on biodiversity and environmental conservation. The term biodiversity is a broad term. It is the biological variety and variability of life on Earth. It is made of three intertwined things, which include 1. Ecosystem diversity, or how complex is the ecosystem. 2. Species diversity, or how many different types of animals or species there are. 3. Genetic diversity, or the different genetic pools in each species. The more different types of these three things there are, the more stronger, denser, and resilient the weave of biodiversity will be. With the help of an example, let us find out about strong biodiversity and how it works. The Amazon rainforest is called one of the, if not the most biodiverse place on Earth. Over here, vines grow from the forest floor, twine around the treetops, and provide support to these tall 60-foot trees. Then, with the help of those vines, the trees grow fruits and leaves that feed the herbivores like tapirs. The herbivores spread the seeds so that the trees can grow in the different parts of the forest. The remaining foods are decomposed by the millions of insects that live in this forest. This shows how complex the ecosystem of the forest is. There are hundreds of thousands of these ecosystems, and they are further strengthened by different species and their different genetic pools. So, if we take out any one species, will the Amazon rainforest collapse? Absolutely not. The web is strong enough to stay intact after losing 1, 10, or 100 species of plants and animals. After understanding that biodiversities are complex, we might think that a few species going extinct is going to do no harm. But surprisingly enough, with the collapse of these biodiversities, a gradual ecological imbalance arises, and thus we are not only harming our environment, but ourselves. Remember, we too are a part of this complex chain of links. So what are the main reasons for the loss of biodiversity? Well, there are three main reasons, which include 1. Pollution. All forms of pollution pose a serious threat to biodiversity. Now let us see how pollution causes loss of biodiversity. An example would be industrial waste being dumped into water. These toxic substances kill all the aquatic plants, animals, and fishes. Then the birds who eat a particular kind of fish will go endangered due to the shortage of food, and that complete food chain will go endangered or worse, extinct. 2. Deforestation. Deforestation, as we all might have guessed, causes loss of biodiversity through ruining the habitat of hundreds of thousands of animals and insects. It can even lead certain tree species to permanently disappear, which affects the ecosystem and therefore the biodiversity. 3. Global warming. We humans release a lot of greenhouse gases, which include carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. These gases create a greenhouse effect by trapping more heat of the sun than required and increasing the temperature of our planet. Due to global warming, polar ice caps are melting, and this will put the biodiversity over there under big danger. If we look around already at the stage, we are facing water scarcity, unexpected weather changes, and even today in this pandemic situation, hundreds of people are dying each day due to the shortage of oxygen in hospitals. And it is shocking to know that we humans are directly or indirectly responsible for this ecosystem imbalance. But as the UN slogan for Biodiversity Day 2021 states, that we are part of the solution. So, yes, it is high time that we, as the young generation, should take our own small steps to conserve the environment by planting trees or smaller plants, recycling plastic, walking or cycling for small distances rather than using a car, etc. And this will eventually lead to the conservation of biodiversities. Let me conclude my speech with a famous quote by Sidney Sheldon: try to leave the earth a better place than when you arrived. Thank you.
Next, judges please note chess number SJ102 on the stage, and SJ103 please get ready. SJ102, you can start.
Respected dignitaries seated on the dais, my dear friends, a very warm good morning to all. Biodiversity is the key, so we can all live in glee. From Genesis to the present day, man, the supreme creation of God, has been using his home, the earth, not for his need, but for his greed. The earth seems to have had enough and has started signaling its inability to withstand any more of this burden. Look closely at the nature. Every species is a masterpiece, exquisitely adapted to its particular environment in which it has survived. Who are we to destroy or even diminish this biodiversity? At this juncture, I wish to present to you my views on the topic biodiversity and environmental conservation. Man, in the name of progress and development, has been using the natural resources of his land.
Sorry. Can you just unmute?
Hello.
Sorry, sir.
So Kiran, I think we'll have to give her time to start again.
Yes, sir. Some other was
Please.
talking, so I was just muting them.
SJ102, there was a small technical error. Can you just start again?
Okay, sir.
Judges, please note that she's starting again.
Respected dignitaries seated on the dais, and my dear friends, a very warm good morning to all. Biodiversity is the key, so we can all live in glee. From Genesis to the present day, man, the supreme creation of God, has been using his home, the earth, not for his need, but for his greed. The earth seems to have had enough and has started signaling its inability to withstand any more of this burden. Look closely at the nature. Every species is a masterpiece, exquisitely adapted to its particular environment in which it has survived. Who are we to destroy or even diminish this biodiversity? At this juncture, I wish to present to you my views on the topic biodiversity and environmental conservation. Man, in the name of progress and development, has been using the natural resources of his land. We have come a long way without understanding nature and have been sapping on her as though there is no end. Now it looks like we have reached the end. Warnings have been given time and again by nature herself and people who could sense the disaster. Now we have reached a point where we could no longer go forward but take a U-turn. Where have we gone wrong? We just have to look around us. What are all these concrete buildings doing here? What is that trash on the waysides and beaches? What are we doing? We have to do something for this. Our earth is home to millions of species of flora and fauna. It is up to us to get ourselves and the world around back to where it started. We have to put back the biodiversity. Granted, man aspires for a comfortable living, and for that, we destroy our ecosystem. All we have to look at is the Kerala floods of 2018 and 19, which probably is the last warning for us in Kerala. We have been cutting down trees, mining sand, extracting from quarries, all of which are directly connected to the floods. We have to restore our forests, give it back to trees, animals, birds, insects, and worms. Please do not shake the earth and crack it and make it lose its capacity to hold together, or else we have to face a landslide. We know that things are changing for the better, but at a very slow pace. The decade from 2021 to 2030 is to be observed as the eco-restoration decade, with more natural forests reinstated, a greater awareness of the ecosystem reimposed, returning to the vernacular architecture, Replacing our agriculture with native cultivation, we can slowly and steadily restore the biodiversity of our land. A small example that I would like to quote in this context is mangroves have always been part of our ecosystem. In the marshy lands, at the mouth of the river where it meets the sea, it is rich in biodiversity. The modern urbanized way to hold land from sea is to build water breakers which uses rocks, sand, cement, and human labor, which is all very expensive and which also depletes the nature of its resources. All we have to do is plant mangroves at a cost which would be less than 1% of the construction, and definitely the better way to do it. Biodiversity as a means to protecting the environment and protection of the environment in turn is the only way for the sustainability of mankind. Let me conclude by saying it is high time that man has given up the foolish notion that technology is above nature. Come forth into the light and let nature be your teacher. Thank you.
Surya, before you start, there's a small announcement. I request all of you to please ensure that you do not unmute unless otherwise asked for, because in between for the speeches, for the participants, it will be a big problem. So Sri Kiran will be muting all those who are present here, and only those who are asked to unmute should unmute. Thank you. Now, Surya, you can start.
Okay, sir. Next, judges, please note chess number SJ103 on the stage. SJ103, you can start.
Only when the last tree is cut down, the last fish is eaten, and the last river is poisoned, man will know that he can't eat money. A very good morning to all of you. Today, I would like to talk about biodiversity and environmental protection. What is biodiversity? Bio means life. Diversity means variety. So, it is the variety of living things like plants and animals and their natural habitats like rivers, oceans, forests, mountains, etc. It is absolutely important to protect biodiversity. What is environment? Environment is our surroundings. It consists of air, water, soil. In the Stone Age, we did not harm biodiversity. Now, people have become greedy and started damaging it. How can we protect our environment? Here are some simple solutions. Firstly, saying no to plastic. We use too much of plastic and not recycle it properly. I saw some heartbreaking pictures on the news that animals and fishes are getting stuck in plastic covers and ropes. So please don't use much plastic. Secondly, don't cut trees. Instead, plant more trees. Remember, more trees mean more oxygen. Sadly, we all know that many trees have burned because of wildfires, and people are also deforesting Amazon rainforest. Please don't encourage that because we are already suffering from global warming. Thirdly, reduce vehicle usage. Unfortunately, even for a short distance, we use vehicles. So we have too much of pollution and we are not getting fresh air to breathe. So it would be okay if you rather walk or cycle. Finally, don't overhunt and overfish. People are hunting endangered species and eventually many of them are getting extinct. Also, it affects pollination, food chain, and many more. Now, scientists are alarming us the importance of maintaining biodiversity. Our environment is in our hands. In fact, we are the criminals in this matter. We are the murderers of green trees. We are the pollutants of our environment. Hence, we are the patients in the long queues outside hospitals. So please, let's all join our hands together to save our dearest environment with zeal and zest. Let's all be part of the solution, not the problems. Happy International Biodiversity Day. Thank you for this great opportunity. Have a nice day.
So
Sorry.
we have
So,
done with the
yeah.
junior session.
What's it, Surya?
We are done with the sub-junior session.
Yeah, that's what I was announcing. It was my system was muted. Anyway, with that, we come to the end of the 3 participants from the sub-junior section. Now over to the junior section. We are starting off with the junior and over to Surya.
Yes, sir. Judges, please note chess number J201 on the stage. And J202, please get ready. J201, you can start.
Good morning, all. I take this opportunity to greet you all on this wonderful morning, which is made possible by the OISCA International. I address my sincere gratitude to all the dignitaries for selecting me to show up my views on the topic biodiversity and environmental conservation. Nature has always been very vibrant, giving, and resilient to a very large extent. We as Indians should take pride in our strong cultural heritage. If we look at Hinduism, we worship the sun, land, trees and plants, wind and water, which is the very base of human survival. Likewise, we respect and conserve the wildlife, which is a part of our cultural ethos from the time immemorial. Further, the ancient texts written in Sanskrit, Pali, or in other languages provide us with significant details and direct instructions dealing with biodiversity conservation. In fact, the whole civilization has come into existence near the source of water bodies, like Indus Valley civilization. And in this sense, nature and culture become intertwined. Culture reflects our history, traditions, and our beliefs. But the revolutions in the technological and communicational fields and the advancement of globalization have created an impact on culture which have also evolved over time. However, it becomes imperative that we adapt to new things without losing the basic characters of our long cherished traditions and values, which also include environmental conservation. The process of economic growth and development, though vital for any nation's progress, is not at the cost of environmental degradation by means of industrializations and urbanizations. Transportation, burning of fossil fuels, and deforestation result in global warming, which ultimately lead to destructions such as droughts, floods, and a lot more. And all these issues have brought the concern for environmental conservation and sustainable development to the forefront. But the world is losing its biodiversity at an ever-increasing and an alarming rate. Biodiversity has declined by more than a quarter in the last 35 years in terms of number of species. Triggers for this are population growth, infringement into ecosystem, and unsustainable use of natural resources. We use resources faster than they can regenerate. We cut trees faster than they can regrow. And we catch fishes at a rate faster than they can repopulate. Globally, humanity uses 40% more resources than it can regenerate in a year. And the present situation of COVID-19 is completely altering human movements and activities and world economy in ways that are likely to have large and unexpected effects on biodiversity conservation. And this is dangerous for our environment, since every human being, every nation, as well as the future generation depends on a healthy diversity for their survival. At the international level, the Convention on Biological Diversity, signed at the 1992 Rio Earth Summit, was completely dedicated for the promotion of sustainable development. They have recognized that biodiversity is not just about plants, animals, microorganisms, and their ecosystems. It is about people and our needs for food security, medicines, fresh air and water, and a clean and healthy environment to live in. Preserving biodiversity is a key for a future where every people have sufficient food supply, where agriculture keeps on producing what it ought to, where there is resilience to pests and diseases, and a lot more. Hence, we are faced today with the challenges of not only just industrializations, urbanizations, or liberalization, but also the lack of surety that fresh air and clean water are available to our people. And achievements over these are possible only by the active participation of both government and people in resource conservation and management. Thereby, let us all make a solemn promise in this auspicious day that we would dedicate ourselves for the cause of conservation of biodiversity and protection of our environment. Save Mother Earth. Thank you.
Next, judges please note chess number J202 on the stage. And J203, please get ready. J202, you can start.
Good morning, respected judges and all my dear friends. I feel extremely happy to speak a few words on the important topic, biodiversity and nature conservation. Today, 22nd May, is a very important day. Today is the International Biodiversity Day, and I believe that this is the perfect day to express all my views related to this necessary topic. Nature is the true art of God. It is nature and its biodiversity that together protects the Mother Earth. And biodiversity is the biological variety and variability of various life forms on the earth. It is the shortened term of two words, biological and diversity. It includes the various types of animals, plants, insects, birds, fungi that you see around you. The biodiversity of the Mother Earth is the greatest gift we humankind have ever received. It is due to this biodiversity the life on Earth still continues. It provides us with the ecological life support and also supplies us with the pure oxygen. It is said that there is almost a hidden wealth of 10 million to 100 million life forms on the Earth. It is due to the interdependence between these life forms, life continues so smoothly. And a small break in this interdependence can affect the entire life cycle on a very large scale. And now you understand the importance of biodiversity. Now, just imagine yourself in the middle of a green forest covered with green trees, bushes, plants, climbers, creepers. You can see a lot of colorful flowers with beautiful fragrance. You can hear the relaxing sound of a nearby river flowing through. You can feel the cool breeze swirling all around your body. You can also see and hear the beautiful chirping of birds and also the cutest noises which are made by small creatures. Can you feel our biodiversity? I can feel it. What a wonderful feel it is. But now I feel extremely sorry to tell that our earth, forest, water, river does not remain the same anymore. We human beings have started to become a threat to our own mother nature. Conservation of nature is something that we completely ignore in our busy life. We all are behind our utter selfishness and greediness. We have completely forgot the fact that even our smallest act of kindness can protect and even change our Mother Earth on a very large scale. And the smallest steps should start from our home itself. The first and foremost thing is to prevent the wastage of natural resources. The next is to plant a lot of trees. I won't tell that you need to plant 100 of trees, but at least you can plant one tree on each of your birthday and make yourself a small garden and make yourself an asset for the nature. The next thing is to control the various pollution levels of water pollution, air pollution, and soil pollution. This can be done by finding better way of decomposing waste as well as by preventing the burning of plastics. The next is to opt for sustainable development. This will surely help us a lot. Along with this, we should also follow the policies of 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. We should also spread awareness too. The earth is not ours. It is to be transferred to the coming generations. So it is our duty to protect and nurture it. We human beings believe that everything in the world can be achieved with our power, wealth, money, and beauty. And now, in the present condition of the pandemic, our life have reached a level which was previously unthinkable. And all our power, wealth, money, and beauty cannot bring the oxygen that we are fighting for. It is not because the nature is weak, it remains silent. It is just because it is providing us chances to correct our own mistake. It has always gifted us with all the needed things, but instead, as our gratitude towards the nature, we have always exploited it. And now we understand no one in the world is as much powerful as the creator of this whole life. We are not at all late. So let's join our hands together to protect our Mother Earth, as unity is strength. Let's be the change that we wish to see. Let's be a generation that becomes role model for all the generation. I would like to take this opportunity to give my tribute to the great environmentalist Sundarlal Bahuguna, who left us yesterday. I would also like to conclude my speech by telling the famous message of Mother Earth. You are not necessary. The earth, the sky, the water, the wind, all are fine without you. And remember, when you come back, you are my guests, not my masters. With a good hope for the future, I would like to conclude my speech. Thank you and have a nice day.
Next, judges please note chess number J203 on the stage. J203, you can start.
Greetings to everyone. Today I'm going to focus on biodiversity and your protection obligation. First of all, what is biodiversity?
Excuse me. J203, your bandwidth is very low. There is some network connectivity problem from your end.
May off video.
Anyway, since we have seen you, I think you can off your video and do the audio part alone. Are you ready?
I do the audio part alone.
No, there is some issue still. No, it's your connectivity is not correct.
Thanks to everyone. Today, I'm here to speak a few words on the topic, biodiversity and environmental protection or conservation. First of all, what is biodiversity? It is the wide variety of living organisms, including plants, animals, and microorganisms with whom we share this planet. In 1992, the UN Earth Summit defined biodiversity as the variability among organisms from all sources, including terrestrial, marine, other aquatic ecosystems, and ecological complexes which form a part of this earth. The term biodiversity was first introduced by Walter Rosen. It is an assemblage of different species in an ecosystem. Biodiversity can be categorized into three levels: genetic diversity, species diversity, and community diversity. Now let's see them briefly. Genetic diversity. It is the differences in genetic makeup. For example, in India, we have 50,000 genetic variants of paddy and 1,000 genetic variants of mango. Rauwolfia vomitoria, which is a medicinal plant found in different ranges of Himalayas, shows differences in potency and concentration of active reserpine due to genetic makeup. Species diversity. It is the differences in number and richness of the species in an ecosystem. For example, Western Ghats have more amphibians than Eastern Ghats. Community diversity. It is the differences in community, biotic, habitat, and ecological processes. The importances of biodiversity can be viewed and measured as biological services, ecosystem services, and social benefits to biodiversity. Even though India is one of the 17 most diverse countries in this world, it faces lots of problems to its biodiversity. The major causes for biodiversity decline can be seen as habitat loss, fragmentation, climatic change, introduction of alien or exotic species, intensive agriculture and aquaculture practices, natural disasters and coextinction, and so on. The natural resources of this earth, including air, water, land, flora, and fauna, must be safeguarded for the benefit of the future and the present generation through careful planning and management. Now let's see about environmental protection or preservation. Environmental protection or preservation is one of the basic prerequisites for the development of any country in this world. The basic ways which we can do to preserve our environment are save water, electricity, and natural resources, reduce pollution, stop the usage of plastic and polythene bags, instead use plate paper and cloth bags, which are way more easier to recycle, participate in occasions like Ban Mahotsav, Chipko movement, etc. And there are many things which we can do. Environmental protection focuses on solving problems arising between humans and the environmental system and issues related to its conservation. Its aim is to prevent degradation of the natural resources which is affected by overconsumption, technology, increasing population, and of all which created a negative impact on the environment. International Day for Biodiversity is observed on 22nd May to create as well as enhance understanding and awareness to biodiversity issues. According to Convention on Biological Diversity, World Biodiversity Day was started at the United Nations General Assembly at 1993. The theme for World Biological Diversity Day is Our Solutions Are in the Nature. I would like to conclude my speech by saying that most of the biodiversity resources in this world are being used by humans like us. So it is our responsibility to safeguard it and to protect our mother earth. The richness of the species, the ecosystem, the environment, and the sustainable growth of life on earth is very important. Biodiversity is the greatest treasure that we have got. Its diminishment is to be prevented at any cost. Thank you all and happy Biodiversity Day.
Thank you. So with that, we come to the end of the junior section also. Those were the 3 junior participants. Now we go on to the senior level. We'll start the senior competition now. Judges, please note, and Surya, you can start calling.
Yes, sir. Judges, please note chess number S301 on the stage and S302. Please get ready. S301, you can start.
Warm greetings to one and all. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to OISCA for providing me with this platform to speak on the topic that is of utmost importance in today's world, biodiversity and environmental conservation. Did you know that the trees in a forest can talk and share nutrients using an underground channel built by soil fungi? Did you also know that the fingerprints of koalas are nearly indistinguishable from that of humans? True that our Earth is a miracle. We all know that our ecosystem is a complex interlocking of individual species that have evolved over millions of years. In this complex jigsaw puzzle kind of framework, the loss of any species will result in the collapse of our ecosystem. This is why the conservation of biodiversity and environment is vital. Now, what is biodiversity? It refers to the diversified forms of plants and animals in our planet and also includes microorganisms, coral reefs, rainforests, etc. From my point of view, there are many important functions performed by them. First and the foremost is the ecological stability. All species perform a particular function in our ecosystem. It helps in the water and nutrient cycle. The climate is also regulated by biodiversity. A healthy ecosystem acts as a support of products and services that are essential for the human survival, such as the soil fertility, decomposition of waste, purification of air and water, etc. Biodiversity also serves in the production of food, medicines, pharmaceuticals, and much more. Food products are the crops, livestock, fisheries. Many wild plant species have been used for medicinal purposes such as morphine and quinine. Researchers indicate that there is a close link between the outbreak of diseases and the degradation of nature. Around 70% of emerging viral diseases have spread from animals to humans. As the global wildlife trade continues and the developmental projects expand deeper into the tropical forests, humans are increasing their exposure towards wild animals and also the diseases that they may carry. For example, is this COVID-19 pandemic. All of these indicate the essentiality of biodiversity. But let's take a moment and look around us. Keeping aside our technological developments, did we actually accomplish sustainable development? Biodiversity loss is increasing at an alarming rate, and it has many consequences, not just for the environment, but also for the humans at the economic and the health level. Let me explain it with the help of an example. The geographical region of the famous Yellowstone National Park initially had wolves inhabiting its plains. For generations, they were hunted till they became extinct in the region. After a while, the population of the deer rose, and they started grazing extensively on the shore of the river, which made the soil loose. The river began to take a large amount of soil and deposit it in other regions, causing flooding in certain areas, and at the same time, drought in other regions. But with the timely efforts of the biologists, the river returned to its originality. Human activities have already contributed towards the degradation of nature. Another example from my country is the Bhopal industrial disaster of 1984, which contaminated the soil and water as a result of leakage of a toxic gas. I can put forth more examples, like the explosion of a nuclear power plant in Chernobyl, which released massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere. Similarly is the Kuwait oil fires, which lasted for almost 10 months, spewed crude oil into the desert and the Persian Gulf. All these unfortunate events had a major impact on the environment. There are many regions in the world with similar problems, and if we do not do our best to conserve it, we would have to face worse catastrophes. In a nutshell, it is we the citizens who should be responsible for safeguarding our environment and biodiversity to ensure world peace and harmony. There is no time to stand and stare. Let us all join our hands together to save our Mother Earth. We must try to leave the earth a better place than when we arrived. Thank you.
Next, judges please note chess number S302 on the stage and S303, please get ready. S302, you can start.
Greetings to all. First and foremost, let me thank OISCA International for giving me this great opportunity to express my ideas and opinions on an important topic, biodiversity and environmental conservation. While I'm here today, there's this quote once said by Claudia Flores that strikes my mind. We should be impatient for change, and let us remember that it's our voice that is precious and that we must use it. So keeping this motivational quote in mind, let me begin. What is biodiversity? We know that the word consists of two terms, biological and diversity. Biodiversity is the variety of flora and fauna found in a particular region. You might be thinking on why is it important to know about biodiversity or why even conserve it. Let me make it clear for you. Biodiversity is important for sustaining life on Earth, and it maintains the balance of nature so that no one thing can be too powerful and bad for any other species. It even helps to regulate climatic conditions. If you look at any other species, you'll see that one species kills another species only for its survival. That is, when it is threatened or when it is hungry. But we humans have not even evolved. We kill another species not for our own survival, but to prove our superiority over the other, or sometimes even for pleasure. Nature is a great experimenter. How do you think she experiments? Basically, it discards a species that is not supporting the whole, and it has constantly experimented over millions of years. It has discarded the dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, Ramapithecus, etc. A few of these species have survived for over 200,000 years, and a few for over 10 to 20 million years. So, How sure are you about the success of our species? Are you sure we're going to survive? If we have to, then that means we need to be beneficial for the whole. If you are not, then what would nature do? She would discard us. So, are we beneficial to her? If we probably happen to have a conversation with planet Earth, I guess the answer would be very unhappy. We are probably more damaging than the smallpox virus, which doesn't even exist now. Yes? As our population is rising, we are clearing immense of land to construct houses and industries. The only answer to all these that I can think of is giving Mother Nature the space and protection it needs. The same holds true in the case of sea as well, where huge oil spills are causing great disaster for the marine life and its ecosystem. Man's greed is expanding through horizons and reaching up to the Arctic and Antarctic poles. Wildlife reserves is also one solution to these problems. We should start using sustainable products and avoid using products like leather, timber, plastic, etc. that affect our biodiversity very badly. There is a huge noise outside in the world about the virus, the coronavirus. What if this is nature's way of eliminating us, the human virus? In the current situation, it is neither China nor the Chinese people the problem. The real problem is our own consciousness. We are living and experiencing life in separation, as though we are separate from everybody around us. And this separation-driven consciousness has its own repercussions. And we see it in the world as disasters, natural calamities, and now even as the coronavirus. On an average, one new infectious disease emerges in humans every 4 months, and 75% of these come from animals. You should know that it is only a healthy ecosystem that will protect us from diseases. We must rebuild by working with nature and not against it. Just remember, failure to act is failing humanity. Measures must be taken to combat illegal trade between wildlife, and we must adopt the principles of sustainable development. Our environment is under distress, and it is not a hidden fact anymore. The threat it is facing right now is alarming, and it is our duty to save it before it gets too late. Nature doesn't need human species for her survival, but it is a necessity than a choice for us. It is time to awaken now. We cannot continue living our life from a disconnected state of consciousness. The more disconnections, the more chaotic would be the world around us. If you are truly looking for a more peaceful world, a more joyous world, if we intend to create a beautiful world for our children and for our grandchildren, then the transformation needs to happen now and here. As Mahatma Gandhi ji once quoted, you should be the change you wish to see in the world. So what are you waiting for? Step up and do your part. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Next, judges, please note chess number S303 on the stage. S303, you can start.
Greetings to all. It is my immense privilege to participate in the speech contest conducted by OISCA International, which administers preeminent services for humanity and nature. The theme given is of utmost significance in the contemporary world: biodiversity and environmental conservation. Ecology is the permanent economy. This is the well-known slogan put forth by the foremost Indian environmentalist and the founder of the world-inspired Chipko movement, our well-known, our pride, Sundarlal Bahuguna. He is with us no more. Paying our respects and embracing his words, we can decipher that nature enriches us with all the essentials for our physical and mental well-being. From the air we breathe to survive, to the raw materials which serve as components for today's sophisticated technology. However, when we look deeper, we can understand the sad plight endured by nature because of one of the 8.7 million species of this earth. Yes, we human beings ourselves. The rate of loss of the variety of life forms on earth, the biodiversity, is now 100 and 1,000 times more than that of the normal extinction rate. Hence, many of our ecosystems are edging to an ecological collapse, like that of Easter Islands in Chile, which once flourished in civilization, and what remains now is remote land. Hence, the places we embrace as our dear homes are in danger of becoming lifeless, barren lands in the future. Throughout the history of humanity, we can perceive that the root cause of all the natural disasters and even the pandemic like COVID-19 is the loss of biodiversity. The selfish, ignorant, and exploiting action of man towards nature has altered the wildlife composition, hence enabling the species to extend their niches to human dwellings and allowing, for instance, pathogen hosting bats to spread them to humans easily, costing the lives of millions around us as we are witnessing now. Hence, the United Nations High-Level Panel on Threats, Challenges and Change has rightly placed environmental degradation as one of the 10 threats to international peace and security. World nations are indeed coming together with significant strategy, like the 20 Aichi biodiversity goals put forth by the UN Convention on Biological Diversity held at Nagoya, Japan in 2010. With 2020 as the deadline, only 6 of them were partially fulfilled. What happened to the rest? The depletion of our natural resources, the destruction upon our wildlife, the deterioration of our environment should not be overlooked. And with strong implementation through global solidarity, we have to conserve, restore, and employ sustainable use of our biodiversity and environment. I personally suggest that environmental ethics, the moral principles necessary for living in an environment, should be educated and encouraged in today's world. I did my post-graduation research on Alan Marshall's environmental ethics, which focuses on extending ethical rights to all the natural components in this world, understanding their fundamental interconnectedness. On today's World Biodiversity Day, let us together acknowledge the inherent value of all species, regardless of their usefulness to human beings. I would like to conclude my words with the well-famous quote of the legendary Japanese film director Akira Kurosawa. People tend to forget that they are only just a part of nature. So let us join our hands together to be stewards of our earth, because our future generation deserve a healthy nature. Thank you.
The judges, with that, we have completed the full 9 participants. A word to all the participants. OISCA appreciates and congratulates all the finalists for their amazing performances. All of you have done exceptionally well, and we are sure our panel of judges will have a tough time in selections. Congrats to all of you once again. So thank you, judges. And as usual, with the tabulation, since it's online, we'll be having it separately in the afternoon session, and we'll be informing you by evening, late evening. So now we go on to the certificate distribution. Certificate distribution of all the 24 participants, semi-final participants, and our Sri Kiran will be screen sharing the certificates, digital certificates, and it will be awarded, handed over by our Honorable Secretary General. And the end, he'll be giving us comments. You know the limitations being online. So in the end, he'll be giving his comments. For one by one, I'll be calling out the names, and your certificate will be shared on the screen. Kiran, you ready? Okay, so that semi-finals, the first certificate of appreciation with A grade is awarded to Ishani Shaji. Congrats, Ishani. Next is Iona KV. Congrats, Iona. Third is Advita J. Srijit. Congrats, Advita. Jyotika SK of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. I forgot to read out the names of the schools. Actually, it was important. Sorry for that. Jyotika SK for Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. Congratulations. Rose Abraham, again of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. Congratulations. Anushri R. Nair, that is from the junior round from Kendriya Vidyalaya Kanjikot, Palakkad. Anushri R. Nair, congrats. Gautam Dineshan C. of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. Congratulations. Bhavadharni H. of Srinarayana Public School, Palakkad. Congratulations. Siddharth Rajesh of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. Congratulations. Laya Vinod, again of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. Congratulations. Sri Lakshmi M. of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kozhikode. Congratulations. Liana Ashraf K. of Saraswati Vidya Nityan Higher Secondary School, Ernakulam. Ashida of Miranda House, Delhi University. Harita P. Suresh of Bharat Mata College, Ernakulam. E. Gayatri Verma of PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. And Insha Halima. So those were the semi-finalists. And now we go on to the finalists. First, the sub-juniors, we have Insha Halima of Ikra International School, Bangalore, who has qualified with A grade, A+ in the finals. Next is Abhijay Kutasheri. These people had performed today. Abhijay Kutasheri of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. And the third participant from sub-junior was Bhadra P. Nair of Silver Hills Higher Secondary School, Calicut. Now over to the junior section. First, we had Varsha V. of Nirmala Mata Convent Metric Higher Secondary School, Coimbatore. Then Niranjana Uday of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Kannur. And Shreya M. of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Palakkad. Over to the senior category, we had Sharon Stanley of Yuva Kshetra Institute of Management Studies, Palakkad. Vaishnavi Sajit Kumar of JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing, Mysore. And Santra Suresh of Amrita Vidyalayam, Palakkad. Those were the 9 A+, that means the finalists of this competition. Congratulations from OISCA and all of us present here. Thank you, Kiran, for the screen sharing part. And now we'll have a quick word, a comment, as handing over ceremony part from our Secretary General, Kitsuki Fumio. San.
Thank you very much again. It's really, I enjoyed your presentations very much, and a very good time. I spent a very good time with you. And it's interesting that all of you studied so much and discussed very important topics about this environmental conservation and the reason how to deal with the issues in the future. And I was impressed by what the members said about the importance of taking action now, because young people can take action and make difference for the future. That's what I was assured by the presenters. Thank you very much once again. We look forward to receiving the best one's text from your chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So that is, we have distributed our digital certificates to all the 24 semi-finalists. So all the semi-finalists, excluding the finalists today, have been awarded A grade, and the 9 finalists have been graded A+. So now we will have actually a quick word of evaluation from our SIC president, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir. He'll be dwelling upon the presentation part of all the 9 students in general. Sir, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Anoop. I am immensely overjoyed seeing all the 9 participants, hearing them. I should say all of them were fantastic. I could also see their evolution in their talk, the style, the presentation, the subject content. When I first saw them on the video clipping, then later when we heard the 24, and now when we heard the 9, this 9 which came up today are exceptional. Fantastic presentation, smiling, confidence. This really shows that these kids are just not only in their, are just not trying to move around their comfort zones. They've gone beyond, they've taken the help of the library, they've accessed a lot of information. They have just not comfortably sat to mug and spit out something, but have gone on. But yet, as some of them, content-wise is very, very good. I'm really overjoyed because they have studied so much on biodiversity. Some of them were quoting the latest literature on biodiversity as to what is happening and things like that. So this is what is really expected of students. You have to go beyond your specific roles, just not education, but imbibing all that you see outside also is education. And this is what you've done. It's wonderful. All 9 of them at various age categories. They are assets, not only OISCA assets, but assets of the country. And these are the people whom we always like to project as ambassadors of India. Thank you very much. All the best, all 9 of you.
Thank you, sir. So can we have a quick word from the other panel of judges? First, I would call upon Dr. Khalil, sir. Just a quick word on your views.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. It is fantastic and wonderful. The students have performed very well. We are actually in a difficulty to find out the voice first. So even then, there are some norms. We can do it well. And congratulations to all those who have attended this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A quick word from K.K. Chandran, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I like the way in which they talked, and they are very much endured with the subject. They have learned about biodiversity and the nature and what we are now, the pandemic situation and all they have dealt with. And I wish them success.
Thank you, sir. So we had a quick replacement for today's judge. We thank once again Mrs. Jyoti Balachandran for accepting at such a short notice. Today morning only we fixed her up. Thank you, ma'am, and we'll have a quick word from you.
Actually, I'm very happy, to put it frankly, though it's very sad, but I'm very happy I could hear these children speaking, and with what depth they have gone and what emotion and enthusiasm they are presenting. It was actually just certain things which they said was coming from inside, and they have done a lot of research, I would say, not even just a study. Some of them have even done research. Very happy to hear it. See you in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So with that, I think we have come to the end of the two-part. Actually, this was a two-pronged program. First, we had a celebration from the OISCA part, followed by the speech contest. So we have come to the end of both. And why not we have a quick word from Aravind Babu, sir? Aravind Babu, sir, a quick word from you before we close.
Thank you, Anoop. I take this opportunity to congratulate the organizers, first Mr. Anoop and Youth Forum team for the wonderful arrangements of these programs. Last 1 month, they're trying for a lot for this purpose. So thank you, team and participants. The 9 participants done wonderfully well. Congratulations to you all. And my special thanks to Mr. Fumio, Kitsuki, Mr. Ogaki, Mr. Emi, all. They all represented from Tokyo viewing this program. So thank you. On behalf of OISCA South India chapter, I wish to express our sincere thanks to Mr. Kitsuki and team from Tokyo. And my special thanks goes to our judges, our 4 judges. They've done wonderful job for this purpose. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. So that is an information to all the participants. All the certificates, digital certificates will be mailed to you in your personal mail IDs or your parents' mail ID. You can share it with Mr. Akhil and that will come to you. And by today evening, late evening, we'll be announcing the results because this is an online program. So tabulation has to be done in a separate meeting. So that will be done and we'll be informing you by late evening. So that's it. And as all the judges said, you have all done extremely well. And whoever wins, somebody has to win. That's all. You just take it that way because all 9 of you have done exceptionally well. And from that, we have to single out a person. But that doesn't mean that the other 2 were bad. It's just somebody means what to say, that the best one comes out. So that's how to accept it that way. You are all actually winners. So with these few words, thanks to all the Youth Forum members and all the senior OISCANs who were part of this judging in the initial stages and the judges now. And with that, formally to close this program and to propose the vote of thanks, I call upon our very vibrant SIC Youth Forum coordinator, Mr. Prajit. So Prajit will be rendering the vote of thanks. Over to Prajit.
Thank you very much, Anoop sir. I find this afternoon very delightful, hearing all the leaders, rather change makers of our nation. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to propose the felicitation address for today. Let me begin with the short words of E.O. Wilson. Look closely at nature. Every species is a masterpiece, exclusively adapted to the particular environment in which it has survived. Who are we to destroy or even diminish biodiversity? So that was a peak question that every participant from three of the categories asked. Is man a villain or a hero in this present scenario, in this present world? Yes, it's a great responsibility for every person to contribute their utmost for nature sustainability. And do you know what is the highest wealth of our nation, or the apex wealth? The wealth of the nation is its air, water, soil, forest, minerals, rivers, lakes, oceans, scenic beauty, wildlife, habitat, and biodiversity. That's all there is. That's the whole economy. That's where all the economic activity and jobs come from. These biological systems are the sustaining wealth of our world. Now, on this auspicious day, let me record my heartwarming gratitude and honor to the Chief Guest of Honor, Fumio Kitsuki-san, Secretary General, OISCA International. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable time and your great words with the team and gatherings today. Let me also record my heartwarming gratitude to the Deputy Secretary General of OISCA International, Aravind Babu, sir, for his great guidance and showering his blessings to the gatherings today. Thank you very much, sir. Let me also take this incredible opportunity to record my heartwarming gratitude to the vibrant SIC President of OISCA International South India, Dr. N. Kumar IFS, sir. As usual, you really inspired us today again with your great words. Thank you very much, sir. Let me also record the mentor, the guide of the Youth Forum, the Director of Youth Forum, PV Anoop Kumar, sir, who has led a wonderful team for the appreciable execution of this wonderful program. Thank you very much, sir. Let me also record my great and greatest appreciation and honor to the judges, the 4 judges today. And in her absence, Dr. Parvati Warrior ma'am, Dr. Kali Chova sir, KK Chandran sir, Krishna Kumar sir, and Jyoti ma'am. Thank you very much for sharing and sparing a valuable time to hear these all leaders today. Let me also record all my gratitude to the senior OISCANs, KP Chandrasekharan sir, KK Chandran sir, PV Vijayan sir, Nalinakshan sir, Dr. Sudonanan sir, Nalinakshan sir, Ashraf sir, VP Sugamaran sir, VP Shashidharan sir, and last but not the least, nothing would be possible where there is no unity and teamwork. The team that has been led by our dear Anoop sir. I must also in-depth my gratitude to Kiran, Srinanda, and Surya for their great commitment towards making this program the wonderful one. Let me also once again thank each and everyone, not specifying anyone's name further, but again thanking everybody for your great and greatest contribution to address and witness this gathering today. Let me conclude my felicitation address with a quote that just remember, cultivating and conserving diversity is no luxury in our times. Amit, it is a survival imperative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prajit, for your nice words. And with that, we come to an end of this wonderful program. We really enjoyed doing this program for the last 3-4 weeks. We were listening to the speeches from all the young talents over. And finally, we have shortlisted to 9. And today evening, we'll be shortlisting it to another 3. That will be the one from the sub-junior level, then again from the junior, and 1 senior. So that's it. We really enjoyed, and congratulations once again to all the participants, not only the 24, all the person who participated in this program wholeheartedly, and all the senior OISCAN members who helped us in shortlisting the participants, and finally the judging panel. So it's now over to the judging panel. They'll select the best and we'll send them forward. So thank you all. We really enjoyed this program. Have a nice day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.